Yeah, this is the NCWWC National Championship that we're heading to in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It's the first year that the national tournament is being held at a neutral site, the same arena that men's D2 is being held next weekend, and last year men's D3 was at. So that's probably one of the most exciting parts for me as a coach, is to see women's wrestling continuously grow over the past 10 years of me coaching women's collegiate wrestling. Is we've always been in a university, Oklahoma City's gym for how many years, and then at Life University for a year there with the WCWA, and now the past 3 years we were at Adrian, and to see the growth of women's wrestling going into a big arena is one of the most exciting things on that front. I'm taking 12 girls this year. I'm really excited about that, right? The number 1 seed, Marissa Gallegos, headlining us, if you will. Jennesis making a return trip for her 3rd time, another 2-time All-American for us. Really looking forward to the competition, right? Looking at the brackets and looking at how, again, the growth of women's wrestling. Like, I don't think it's going to be any easy matches throughout the day, and that's what we've been prepared for. We're most excited about that as individuals, that we're going to have tough competition. We're looking forward to those battles, and hopefully being on the top of the podium at the end of the weekend.
And I'm going to take it back just one extra step, and we talk about the regional tournament. Me and you had plenty of conversations about how balanced all of a sudden women's wrestling has become, especially in this region, and how competitive it really is. And just talk about the growth and how, you're on the executive committee. Talk about that growth and how close things are to coming to fruition.
Definitely. So, we had that regional tournament 2 weeks or a week and a half ago now, and each region, I say that fairly confidently, each region had tough schools in it, tough competition, but to see how the parity of women's wrestling has continuously grown is amazing, right? It's not just the Big Ten, if you will, and I say that not in this conference sense, but like the Big Ten of the original schools that have always kind of been powerhouses kind of leading the pack. It's starting to be spread out amongst a lot of schools, right? So we had 12 qualifiers. Simon Fraser qualified 10. I believe Chadron, Texas Women's, and Shriner each qualified 5. Ozarks qualified 1. Pacific qualified 1. So everybody in our region qualified at least one person to the national tournament, and that's an exciting growth. We're so close to being a championship sport sponsored by the NCAA. We hit that first minimum of the year, so we hit that 40 schools with the minimum roster requirement competition date. So that's really exciting. Hopefully we can kind of push that through and be a championship sport here in the next year or two.
And then Jen, for you, making a return trip to the national championship tournament after missing last year with an injury, just talk about your excitement level heading into this weekend.
I'm actually really excited. I've just been thinking about it a lot. I didn't get to come last year, which was pretty upsetting. I was pretty sad. I was happy watching my teammates, but sad that I wasn't there with them. So I'm really excited that I get to go this year, and I'm just excited for all my teammates. We've all been working really hard, and I'm very confident in myself and in my teammates that we're going to do well this weekend.
And Marissa, for you, kind of first time heading into the tournament as the number 1 seed at your weight. Talk about your expectations heading into the weekend and what you're looking to do.
Yeah. So, I really truly believe that this is my year, and I believe that every year though. Like, I believe that since my first year competing for CMU, I believed I could win it there. I fell short to the person who won the tournament in a 3-1 match, and it hasn't worked out yet, but I think this year it will work out. I think my expectation is that I just have fun, be grateful, and just enjoy the moment. I think there were times where I was just so focused on getting the outcome I wanted, and sometimes that stole the fun of like actually wrestling and being there and being grateful to even just be healthy enough to wrestle at the national tournament. And really the expectation for me is just to have fun and do what I do.
Questions?
So I think this is the first year that you don't have 45 pounds of tape on you, and you guys are really, the whole team is probably as healthy as you've been going into the national tournament at this point. And obviously, the body feels much better, I think, this year. You, Jennesis, Dahlia, everybody, you've dealt with injuries. So the body ready to go now and nothing to stop you?
Yeah, my body feels really great, and I think a lot of that was focusing on coming into the training room an hour before practice every day, instead of like scheduling a class right before practice and then rushing to practice. I think the biggest difference is really using my time in the training room wisely, and then also getting 8 hours or more of sleep on the regular.
So you've kind of done the same thing. You've got your body back now, so
Yeah.
it's ready to go.
Yeah, I feel ready to go. I feel great. I feel like some of the tournaments going into them this year, I didn't feel too great, but I still went out and performed. But now I feel really good, so I'm excited.
Say throughout the year, you've been able to rest kids when you've needed to, and okay, you know, they probably want to wrestle this, but you know what, you need a week off. Obviously the depth is good, and you get a couple of kids in at a couple of different weight classes. It kind of shows that, you know, well, we're going to replace good with good. So, you know, kind of the goal, obviously.
Yeah, it was kind of the goal to change up our travel this year. I felt like we've always traveled far. That's been part of where our location is we've always traveled far, and that's a competitive person in me, and wanting to make sure that I gave the girls on our team an opportunity to compete as often as possible and against the toughest competition as possible. I still think we did that, but we managed it a little bit better than we have in the past, right? We still went to the Missouri Valley Open, right? That's still a big tournament, 64, almost, what's the next number, 132-man brackets. In some of those weights where we had 40, 80 kids in there. So having that tournament, but then going to a dual tournament in Vegas where we got to see tough competition in Tiffin, in Simon Fraser. That's only a 6-hour drive, right? Those things added up all year long, right? Took the girls to national duels, and the girls that wrestled a bunch didn't go the next weekend to York, right? And then, you know, I think just being mindful about our travel schedule this year was a little bit more diligent in making sure that we were prepared, right? I always know that we're not going to be at our best, in the sense that it's wrestling, right? We're going to have something that's tweaked and bumped and bruised, and you know, this kind of by the end of the year, like, that kind of hurts, right? But if we've managed it really well this year, and again, I think we've done a great job going into the home stretch of being excited, having fun, focusing on our best techniques, and you know, if we're hurt, we're going to find a way to figure it out and manage it and take time off and be healthy and be ready to go.
So going in throughout the year, you're the veteran team out in this area, obviously, and a lot of your matches don't take very long. You know, you get your tech falls and you get up. Now going into nationals, you've got to know that you're going to have a 3-1. You're going to have to wrestle the entire time. Does it change your mindset at all? I mean, obviously, have you prepared for that?
Me personally, my mindset is to always go out and dominate. And if it doesn't happen, then I'm still trying my best, you know? But, like, I don't expect myself to dominate everyone, but I go out there like I deserve to and that I should. And I think part of that is I put myself in practice in positions that are hard to score from, and I make myself find a way, or I tell myself I have 10 seconds to score. I'll tell my partners, don't let me try your best not to let me score. I have 10 seconds, ready, go. And just things like that to train myself to know I can score in 10 seconds. I can score in 8 seconds. I can score 20 seconds left. And just putting myself where I have to have adversity in practice is going to prepare me for those tight, close matches that I may run into.
You never know what some kind of predicament you can get yourself into. So preparing in practice obviously is huge for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I feel like I'm kind of on the same page as Marissa. My game plan for every single match is to just go out there and score points and get to my attacks first. Even if it is a close match, like, I'm still always looking to score. And I think my partner does a really great job, like, giving me the looks that I need, that I know I'm going to see when I wrestle these top girls.
So, you know, in regionals, your depth showed that you had, okay, well, we've got 2 people in the finals. You know, we're not going to wrestle that match, you know, unless it's for the 4th place. But now, I mean, you could have kids wrestling each other in the nationals, and that's got to look good for the future of this program and kind of show everybody else this is what you can do if you run your program the right way.
Yeah, right. I think having this depth has always been kind of something that we've been working towards, right? And we've talked about it before, Patty, where it's when we started the program 4 years ago, what was the question? Like, what do you expect to be? I expect to be a championship program, right? And we're building that opportunity here. And, right, I was reading through something we talked about recently, and we haven't won a championship yet, but we've built this championship program and this culture here. And, everybody on this team is contributing in some way, right? You talk about, hey, you might run into a tough match. Well, we have tough matches in the room every day, right? And those are tough, and we have to kind of have some adversity. I reminded the girls of a week where we trained. We had 2-a-day practices, a super hard conditioning, and then a super hard live full combat wrestling practice. And I was like, remember, that's hard. What we get to go do this weekend is fun. To see the opportunity, right, that we might have 2 girls in the championship at 101, 2 girls at the championship at 130, 2 at 123, 2 at 143, right? Like, all of a sudden, you're like, wow, they have depth, and, we can perform at any level. And that's what's exciting for me, is that we've started to build this team, and, people outside of the wrestling community are seeing that as well. They're like, wow, they're so deep. They can sit Marissa and their backup girls right there, right? We can sit Jen, and the backup girl, if you will, is right there. That's exciting, because knowing, we'll kind of take a baseball metaphor, if you will, like the farm is great, right? And we have a good farm system, if you will, and bringing in girls that want to be here, want to compete, want to have fun wrestling. They're dedicated to that. They want to score points. They want to put themselves out there. And that's how we're going to perform this weekend. We're going to go focus on having fun. We're going to enjoy the national tournament. We've all been there. These 2 have been there. They've been in big arenas. They've wrestled at Olympic trials. They wrestled at Olympic trials qualifiers. They've wrestled at Fargo state championships in big arenas. It's nothing new this weekend. It's just another tournament. We're going to go and perform. We're going to go do what we do best. We're going to put a lot of points on the board. We're going to have fun wrestling. And, and if we lose a match, we lost a wrestling match. That's it.
What do you guys kind of go through? I mean, you're out there almost immediately when everything starts, but what do you kind of go through pre-match? Do you want to try to get away from everybody, stick the headphones in, or do you want to kind of feed off crowd energy?
I think for me, it kind of depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I do like to listen to my music and kind of just be alone, and then other times I like to joke around with Travis before my matches, kind of feel loose. I think it just kind of depends on how I'm feeling at the moment.
I feel like this is like a hard one for me, and it's taken a long time to figure out what I like. And I have a tendency to be super serious. I wouldn't say I'm ever not serious enough, but maybe just too serious to where at the end of the day it's exhausting. I'd say something that's helped me, though, is just watching my teammates' matches and really cheering them on and being there for them. And then also just taking a second to go through my routine. Like, I cool down. Me personally, I go and pray. And then after that, I go and text my boyfriend usually. And then after that, I go hang out with my family. And then I talk to my teammates. I think that's kind of my routine and what it's become. But I also do a lot of, like, music. And I change my music up. Like, if I need something that's calming, I'm going to listen to something calming. Something fun. If I need a reminder to have fun, I'm going to listen to a fun, upbeat song. And then if I need a song that's going to get me in the zone to go, then I'm going to listen to an intense song.
Is one of those kind of get out of your head for a while and then get back into your head.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, it's a balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's talking to some of the swimmers. It's like they've got to find the right thing before they get to the block, and you've got 12 different kids that you've got to figure out 12 different routines. But it looks like every kid understands what they've got to do.
Yeah, and the expectation, we talk about this all the time, right? It's not winning and losing. It's going out and wrestling as hard as you can for 6 minutes. Can you score 10 points in 3 minutes? No? Okay, well, you get 30-second break and you get to try again, right? And to go have fun, right? Wrestling is already a stressful situation as it is. It's a live person chess match with so many variables. Somebody's pulling on your arm, yanking on your shoulder, right? You're getting your face smushed up against somebody's hip as you're taking an attack. Like, there's already so many stressful things. Like, why are we going to add an extra stress, right? This idea that we have this pressure to win is absurd. We're just going to go out and have fun, go wrestle. And that's what I try to remind the girls before they go and wrestle, right? And, sometimes it's cutting it up and saying jokes and, hey, you know, look what's going on in the stands, and this person just spilt their soda, like, and we're all laughing, having a joke about it. Or, you know, it's the pre-match routine where I kind of do a little rub on Marissa's lower back and then smack her lower back, and everyone goes, why did he just hit her, right? And everyone's like, the first time I'm sure everybody saw that, they were like, what? But it's knowing what they need in that moment, and again, asking, hey, how are you feeling? I'm a little stressed. All right, hey, we need to cut it up a little bit. Hey, Riss, are we ready to go? Yeah, what do we need? Hey, you need to get off your feet, stop pacing because you've already walked 8 miles today and it's 10 a.m. All right, hey, go grab. Like, I remember one tournament. It was the very first tournament she ever won, right? I told her, I was like, you need to bring a coloring book, and in between matches, sit and color. And she was like, yeah, okay, whatever, Trav. But it was the most relaxing thing, and she was, and everyone else was like, Marissa's so, like, calm and relaxed, and she's more enjoyable to be around because she's not just, like, lasered in. You know, it's just finding those little things that make them happy, and, again, enjoying the moment, right? Not very many people get an opportunity to wrestle at a national championship, right? There's, if you will, 20-some-odd girls on our team in our program that aren't wrestling this weekend. There's 25, 30 other girls on other teams that aren't wrestling this weekend. There's girls that aren't even wrestling in college that don't have this opportunity. So reminding them of the opportunities that we have to in front of us of wrestling, and having an opportunity to wrestle at a national championship like this, I think is the most important thing going into this weekend. And just reminding them that, hey, regardless of how you do, right, we're going to be proud of your results. You've represented not only yourself, but your teammates, your family, our university in a manner that's well-being, and I think that's the most important thing about this weekend is just having fun and knowing that regardless of the outcome, we're proud of them.
Question of the week.
All right, you guys, question of the week time. Which person on your team or in your program do you think has the best chance of surviving on a desert island?
I think Haley Chapman. That girl lives up in the mountains in California, and she knows how to hunt and fish, and Haley Chapman's my go-to. If I get stuck on an island or in the woods, hopefully it's with Haley.
I think it might be Claire. Like, I think Claire would figure it out. She's pretty smart. She could figure out ways to get the water to drink. And you said desert, right? Or an island?
Remote island.
Remote island.
Yeah.
She'd make the water clean to drink. She'd find a bunch of little, like, smart, nifty things to figure it out.
I have to agree with Marissa on this one. I was thinking Claire. I think she just figure out a way. She's pretty smart.